have a monkey in your pants?
Right folks, something popped into my head earlier on the back of something else. It'll all sort of make sense in a minute, which got me thinking. Now, a recent pickup video you guys may have saw that I picked up Express Radar, which is a ZX Spectrum game cassette tape. And I've got two machines and I was trying to play it last night and it wouldn't load on both machine on each side, and usually the machines are perfectly fine in loading games, and they loaded other games last night, so the tape is obviously the problem. Now it's not a big deal. Well, it's quite a hard game to find. It cost me £9 on eBay. There's currently not another one for sale for what I can see. I won't chuck it out because, do you know what I mean? It'd be a shame to get rid of this, especially if it's quite rare. And although this doesn't work as such, then fair enough, I'll just stick it in this box and maybe stick a little note in it saying doesn't work, so I know for future reference basically. But let's say I got a refund instantly. The guy doesn't want it back or anything, so I don't need to pay for the postage side of thing either, so it's not a problem. But it got me thinking, how long is all that stuff gonna realistically last that we're all spending a shit ton, or maybe not in some cases, money on collecting? I was having a look earlier on, excuse me while I read this, and apparently it's all going to go to tits up basically, and emulation is going to be the future of retro consoles at one point or other down the line, which is a sad state of affairs. Apparently magnetic data from cassette tapes, it'll last about 10 to 20 years. Now obviously a music cassette might still work, it might just not sound as good as what it sounded when it was original, but this, it needs to be quite precise and accurate, or as close to what it was when it was first made, for it to load properly on a machine. So basically 10 to 20 years, if you think how old all those Spectrum games are up there, they're all going to die very, very, very soon. So why do I have all these? I'm still going to keep them, because obviously this side of it is extremely nostalgic as well. We can play ROMs. You can get a lot of these things, flash cards and whatever. You can get a version of it for the Spectrum even, so you can load the games instantly onto the Spectrum using a little device. But cassette tapes, 10 to 20 years, they start to lose their magnetic integrity, if you like, and they'll start going tits up. So whatever, for another 5 years, in theory, a lot of those cassettes up there for the Spectrum will be kaput. Again, it depends wear and tear, how they're stored, how they're kept, how often they've actually been used. But the future of Spectrum cassette tapes, physical tapes, the future is bleak. And it saddens me being a Spectrum fan, but the future is bleak. But then I started looking at other things. Obviously, you get game cartridges, the ones that particularly have batteries. Obviously the battery's going to go tits up. It's not a big deal, you can replace them. Sometimes you may need to solder them, and that's fine. CDs and DVDs, again, over a long period of time, the material on those will start to break down. I don't know exactly how long. The only thing I could really find is for like a CDR, if you record onto that, 5 years later it might be being a bit iffy. So, but CDs and DVDs will start to break down as well. So you've got your cassettes, last 10 to 20 years apparently, they're all going to be fucked soon. I'm just going to have a shelf of fucked. You've got your cartridges, the batteries obviously we know about them, but and you've got your CDs and DVDs, which are going to start degrading and not working. Who knows when that'll happen. But and then another side of thing is you've got something called bit rot, which basically correct me if I'm wrong, I've not read much into this or anything, but the data stored on the ROMs, on the cartridges, can start to lose their integrity as well over time, and then they're basically fucked as well. How long will that take? I couldn't find anything specific on it, but the end result is, I should say, is all of our lovely collection, cassette tapes, Spectrum, our lovely Nintendo cartridges, whatever, they will cease to function one day. The machines as well, obviously they've got capacitors and whatever. I'm not going to get the machines, they'll need replaced, and as long as they're reasonably looked after, they might keep going or whatever. But all this stuff that we're all happily collected away, at one point in the future they'll all be defunct. Cassettes, maybe a little bit sooner than the rest. CDs and DVDs, maybe a little bit sooner than the rest. Cartridges will probably outlast a lot. They might outlast us, but future, our kids, when they're, you know what I mean, a little bit older, the cartridges then might start to fail. And it's quite sad. It is, it got me thinking. So, will our kids, when they're our age, want to look at systems this long back from, do you know what I mean, the 80s, or will they only be interested in looking at emulation, if at all? But our collections aren't going to last forever, was my main point. The majority of it, apart from cassettes, might outlast us. But what's the future of retro games collecting? It's a limited future. Do you know what I mean? It's sad times. They'll make us happy, but future generations, they might just have some bits of plastic with useless circuit boards and fucked ROMs in them. But I thought I'd just come on quickly, a little bit of a random bollocks Sunday waffle, if you like. Incoherent maybe. Maybe I didn't get my point across like what I wanted, but Spectrum game doesn't work. Cartridges won't work maybe a long time in the future. CDs and DVDs may not work a long time in the future. So if somehow they invent long life and we're around in 200 years time, we're going to have to play with emulators. That's if they're even compatible with the computer systems of those days, and if anybody's bothered to port them over. But for now, people, enjoy your retro collection, because it's not going to be around forever. It's sad. As always, guys, thanks very much for watching. I'm going to go and take all them Spectrum games off the shelf and give them a hug before they pass away.
Do you have a monkey in your pants?